It's editing Misty. It's several days after the cookie video was filmed, and I just stepped outside to give you a little bit of an explanation. So for those of you who don't know me, like, don't judge me on the following video. I just started this YouTube a year ago to help combat like chemo, surgery brain, and to give my kids a legacy of recipes. Because once you go through, like, say, cancer or any other life-threatening situation, you start to think about your lifespan. It's just normal. So this was my journey. I knew nothing about YouTube or video editing or camera equipment or lighting or sound. I'm just saying the journey continues. I still don't really know that much. I know more. There's Riley. Hi, Riley. I knew nothing when I started, and I know this much now, but there are difficulties with the following video. And I just ask that you please stick with me till the end. I think that you'll get something out of it. It will be a fun ride, but there are issues, and I'll just explain quickly what the issues are. So I got an iPad for Christmas, and I thought, great, I'll use it for B-roll, you know, the secondary camera stuff, but the colors are different. Even though I got a microphone, the audio is terrible. So now I'm trying to patch these things together, and I'm learning color correcting for the first time, and I'm just saying, I'm not going to use the iPad anymore. I think the phone camera does a way better job for B-roll. I learned my lesson. I'm 2 videos in with the iPad, and I'm just like, hey, no. I am just doing this all by myself.
I'm my own crew. Can you tell? You can tell, right? It's noticeable.
Hey, stick around. We're gonna make the best chocolate chip cookies you've ever tried. That is pure chocolate chip fact, in my opinion. Hey, before I go on, I need to give credit where credit is due. This recipe was adapted by me from A Saucy Kitchen. My recipe is linked down below, but if you want to see the original, asaucykitchen.com. From gluten to glory, the almond flour chocolate chip cookie recipe you've been waiting for. These cookies are the best dang chocolate chip cookies you're ever gonna eat. I first met this cookie while on a trip to Arizona. My mom baked up a batch for Grace and I. They were the most perfect chocolate chip cookie I've ever tasted. I couldn't get over how delicious they were, and I demanded the recipe. And I looked at the recipe and I went, oh, it's the 1/3 cup butter that makes it so delicious. There's no getting away from it. Butter makes everything better. They're not diet cookies, that's all I'm saying. But they are gluten-free. All right, I'm going to put these over there to start melting on the stove. Making gluten-free food in a non-gluten-free kitchen can seem challenging, but it's possible. Here are some tips to help you out. You want to clean all surfaces thoroughly before starting, and this includes your countertops, your cutting boards, utensils, pots and pans, whatever you're cooking. Make sure you completely clean and sanitize them first. Use separate utensils and cookware only for gluten-free cooking. This will help prevent cross-contamination. Label all gluten-free ingredients and products so that they don't get mixed up with gluten-containing products. Avoid flour. If you need to thicken a sauce or a soup, use cornstarch or another thickener instead. Be mindful of spices and seasonings. Sometimes a seasoning mix or a spice mix will contain flour or gluten. Double check all of your ingredients before you try to go gluten-free cooking for a friend or something. Let's see. Okay, this has nothing, but there's no reason to put Italian seasoning in chocolate chip cookies. All right. Oh, I hit the thing. Read all labels carefully. And I learned this from my friend Tracy. Shout out to you, my girl. Number 7 is, if you're deep frying, don't deep fry gluten-free things in oil that has already been used to deep fry things that have flour on them. There's probably 100 more, but following these tips can help you make something delicious, a gluten-free cookie, a gluten-free meal in a non-gluten-free kitchen. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Okay, here's what you're gonna need. You're going to need 1 1/3 cup of salted butter melted.
1 1/2 cup white sugar, 1/2 cup packed brown sugar.
And by the way, shout out to my sister Melinda, who sent me a set of 4 fabulous ceramic measuring cups. Wow, so cute. And I love the flat bottom, so stable, unlike me.
1/2 cup butternut puree. Yes, Virginia. You can use pumpkin. If your name's not Virginia, you're stuck with the butternut. Sorry, those are the rules. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. 5 1/2 cups of almond flour.
Where'd I put my almond flour? It's story time! That's right, it's time for a story. I did have to print it out because I'm, not gonna memorize it. Once upon a time, there were 2 sisters named Almond and Blanche. They shared a passion for baking and ran. They shared. I gotta take these up. Everybody calm down. Once upon a time, there were two sisters, Almond and Blanche. They shared a passion for baking and ran a thriving bakery together. One day, a customer asked them if they had any regular almond flour. Well, Almond and Blanche were confused. They had always used blanched almond flour in their recipes, so they didn't know much about regular almond flour. The customer explained that almond flour is made from whole almonds, while blanched almond flour is made from almonds with the skins removed. Naked almonds.
Naked almonds.
Almond and Blanche were intrigued. They decided to do a taste test to see if they could tell the difference. They baked 2 batches of their famous almond cookies, one with almond flour and one with blanched almond flour.
Almond flour and one with blanched almond flour.
Both batches came out delicious, but there was a subtle difference in texture and taste. The cookies made with blanched almond flour were slightly lighter and had a smoother texture, while the cookies made with regular almond flour had a slightly nuttier flavor and a coarser texture.
Almond and Blanche were impressed.
They had always thought that blanched almond flour was the only way to go, but they were pleasantly inspired. Blah. Were they? Were they though? But they were pleasantly surprised by the flavor and texture of the regular almond flour. They decided to use both types of flour in their baking depending on the recipe. The sisters lived happily ever after, sharing their love of baking and experimenting with new ingredients. The end.
Okay, so you might be asking yourself, why did I just tell you that story? Well, I sent Mark to Winco, the bakery bulk aisle, to get some more almond flour, and he came home with something I'd never seen before.
Blanched almond flour. Well, I didn't have enough regular flour to do this whole batch of cookies. So now we are going to experiment. We are going to use whatever I have left of regular almond flour, and then we're going to put in the blanched almond flour, and I'm sure it'll turn out just fine. But it was an opportunity to tell you a fabulous story about my friend Blanche and Almond, who run a bakery. Okay, let's get back to this. I'm still telling you about ingredients. Come on, I'm just slowing myself down. Okay, you also need
3/4 of a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. 3/4 of a cup of milk chocolate chips.
Trust me, mixing semi-sweet chocolate chips with milk chocolate chips, it's a game changer in your chocolate chip baking. I'm not kidding. It's so good. If you only have semi-sweet, then do the whole 1.5 cups semi-sweet. If you only have milk chocolate, you're kind of going to regret it because it's going to be super sweet, but maybe you like your cookies super sweet. I don't know. I'm not you. You do you. You just basically need 1.5 cups, okay? But in my recipe, they're split, 3/4 and 3/4 cup. Okay, what else do we need? For spices, look at that cute little thing. Oh my gosh, isn't Melinda awesome? Well, she was awesome before, but I think those are so cute. I gotta fish around in here. This is how I keep my measuring spoons. You need 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger. 1/2 teaspoon ground nutmeg. 1 teaspoon baking soda. Right now, you should be preheating your oven to 350 degrees. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper or a Silpat. Set that aside. And in a large bowl, we're going to mix together all of our dry ingredients. So that's your 5.5 cups of almond flour and just this stuff I put in here. I hear noises. Is that you, Mark?
Yeah.
I got the big pink bowl. And in the big pink bowl, we're going to put all of our dry ingredients. I'm going to tip you down so you can see what's happening. Okay. So in the in the big pink bowl, we are going to put 5.5 cups of almond flour. Here we go. Keep count with me. 1, 2. Oh, will it make it? No. So that's what I had of the regular almond flour. So I'm just going to jump in with the blanched almond flour and have that make up that cup number 3. We'll call that 4. Oh, I lost count. Where was I? I gotta rewind it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Upon reviewing my footage, I lost count after 4 cups. It happens so often, I just can't even be embarrassed about it anymore. Okay, let's go back on to cup number 5.
Cup number 5! Okay, now I'm just digging out of the old bulk bag. 5 and 1/2. To this, we're going to add the little spices that we put in, plus the baking soda. We're just gonna mix those things together. It smells so good. And set them aside. So I have my melted butter here, and I'm going to add my sugars to it. So get them thoroughly combined with the butter. And then to that, we're going to add our butternut puree and our bing, cling, clang with the trolley. All right, so to that, we are adding those 2 ingredients. So it's the melted butter, the sugars, the vanilla, and your puree, whether it be butternut, which is what I'm using, or you can put pumpkin in there. It's a 1/2 cup. All right, so that's really nice and smoothish. Good enough. We're going to mix these 2 things together. I just pour this lovely mixture into the center of the flour mixture and get it all mixed up. So see how the butter really soaks into that almond flour? It's kind of why I wasn't really, measuring the almond flour like I would wheat flour. This is going to be kind of a loose, moist cookie dough. So I'm going to mix that all together, and then I'm going to fold in my chocolate chips. Okay, so this is what the dough is going to look like. It's moist, it's very buttery. This is what you're going for. You want the large scoop or about 2 tablespoons of dough, and you're just going to plop it on your tray like so. You may have to round them into balls. And you want 2 inches of space all around the cookie because it's going to spread. Now, I can just put the balls on here. And drop them on the floor. Put the balls on the cookie sheet, pop them into the freezer until they're frozen solid, and then put them in a zip top bag. And you can cook them later. You just add a couple of minutes to the cooking time. They cook from frozen. They are big cookies, not gonna lie. I think these are a little bit bigger. I think this is the, you know what, the 3 tablespoon scoop. Wait, second. All right, I gotta re-scoop because these are bigger than, just gonna start over. It's like I can't count. Okay, I'm back. And I have the right tool for the job. You still need to leave 2 tablespoons between each cookie. 2 tablespoons. My goodness. 2 inches. It's gonna look something like this. I have plenty of space around the cookies. These are gonna go in the oven right now. Before, you wanna bake them for 10 minutes and check them. And add additional 2 minutes every time until the edges are golden brown. Hi. This is what you're looking for. Oh, it's really hot. Little golden brown edges. I hope you can see that. Because these cookies have no eggs in them, you have to let them sit on the cookie sheet until they're completely cool or they will fall apart. They need to cool on the cookie sheet to bind together and make a cookie. This will drive your family insane because they will constantly be asking you if they can have a cookie, and you will constantly have to tell them no. So, and I didn't tell you that at the beginning because I really want you to try these cookies. All right, so we're gonna let those cool. Okay, I had to wait for about 15 minutes for the cookies to cool, but here they are. Beautiful. Even Riley's crying about it. Check this out. Super soft, really moist. Out of this world. Sorry, I needed a minute. Hey, if you haven't tried cooking with almond flour, this is a great place to start and a fantastic place to start. Kind of like the mix of the 2 flours. I've only ever used regular almond flour, but the blanched almond flour did change the texture up, so maybe a mix is the way to go. Wow, that's so good. All right, well, I am off to work. I have to work now. Thanks for swinging by. Always love having you here. where we do all kinds of silly things. I'm basically inviting you into my life. I do want to say thank you for liking, leaving your comments. I love hearing from you, and subscribing. And yeah, you might think, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm already subscribed. But you might not be, because sometimes the algorithm will unsubscribe you. So check out down below and make sure you're still subscribed. Heck, I don't know, have a friend subscribe too. I'm just saying. If you don't know how to make your own pumpkin or squash puree, there's a link right here. This video right here will show you how to make, well, butternut squash puree, but it works for acorn, pumpkin. It's the same concept. So I suggest you check it out because, yes, you can buy it in a can, but how great is it to grow your own squash and then use it in stuff? Oh my gosh, it's so great. Just a little passionate about that. I love you guys. Bye.